Hey everyone, welcome to PopXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the PopXP channel. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Whoa. It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scala with the PopXP, and we're here for the end of days. The end of days.
The end of days. The final countdown, part 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What just happened, Niall?
It's just craziness, man. It's been a crazy day.
The crazy day.
I've got people coming in my studio down here while we're going live. It's just a kickoff fun night. Yeah, craziness, absolute craziness.
And so, what are you doing? Why did you come running in so exasperated, so out of breath?
Why am I sweating right now?
Sweating, yeah.
Because I've been working on this custom desk for the studio, and I've got the desk done and built. I've got a few portions of it that I need to paint up to match, but I I wanted to bring the rig and made it more of a surrounding unit. So that's what I've been working on.
So you were totally reconstituting the PopXP studio.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
That's pretty crazy, man. That's great.
Yeah. It's a little fung shui, and
it's less cluttered. All
less
this
cluttered.
How much those drawers that you're pulling out? Do you monitor drawers and all that? What are they? Slabs? What are they? What do you call those things you're pulling out?
Oh, my monitor stands.
Stands.
Yeah, I built them. They're custom.
Yeah, so how much can each stand hold about?
The monitor stand is rated for 200 pounds.
200 pounds. Look at that.
So I could put 4 monitors up to it, and then I've got other slide out sections for different cameras when I want them, and microphones and stuff.
Well, all right. Well, the funny thing is, yeah, as I said, this is take 2 because I said, Niall, I'm going to do this. Let me do this one. He said, okay, don't mess it up. And then I played 2 introductions, and then we went live. We started talking, and then I realized we weren't live. So, it happens. So, anyway.
Rookie of the year, Billy Tucci, rookie of the year.
Yeah, that's it. Rookie of the year. What if it actually is live right now? Oh, it is. All right.
So you're live, bro. All that's up there. You know what else is live? We've got some live friends backstage that should be on this screen right now.
Why don't we bring in our guest host? We have a special guest host that's joining us. He's new to the PopXP family. We love the guy. I want to adopt him, to be honest with you. But why don't we bring him in before we introduce 2 of our illustrious members of Team Shi?
Yeah, so let's welcome back Mr. Don Chin in the house.
Don Chin.
Hey guys, good to see you.
What is up, Don? You are gonna serve. We're gonna have several friends come in. This is gonna be a fun little relaxing post as we take our little Kickstarter that could. It was our Kickstarter exclusive edition for Shi Haikyo. It was, I think, 27-day campaign, and I think we broke $40,000 actually on it. So, and Niall's going to be popping in and out, and we love you, and we hope you'll come along with the ride with us. Of course, you could pitch your wares. But in the meantime, let me make some introductions right now, and I'm going to introduce a man who needs no introduction really, but one of my best friends since the 7th grade. The second really true monster kid that I met, and he knew far about monsters and movies than I did, and we just got along like peas and carrots back in 1994 when we were in 7th grade. So without further ado, or don't, as Dr. Morrissey would say, English teacher, why don't we introduce the one, the only, the acclaimed author of Stoker and Wells, and now Shi Haikyo and Shi Return of the Warrior, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Perros.
Hello there. Thank you for that fine introduction. You great artist, big lug of a fine figure of a human being, left-handed as I am.
Yes. Don, are you left-handed? Don Chin, Stephen Perros, Don Chin.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Both of y'all coming in from over there on the left coast.
That's it.
Yes,
I'm here.
Well, we've also got one other person that's coming from way down south. And another man who needs no introduction, who also has Stephen has a campaign going live right now. We're going to get to Stoker and Wells, which closes tomorrow. But we have someone else who has a campaign going. I think it's on simultaneously on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I'm not quite sure.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. That's right. But ladies and gentlemen, Tex come down San Antonio way via the Dallas-Fort Worth area, via Pittsburgh. From Pittsburgh, Penn, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. J.C. Vaughn.
Via Baltimore, via Long Island.
Via Baltimore, via Long Island. Via comics.
I would like to say that as I was discussing with Billy backstage before our false starts, I decided that this evening I would live up to the nickname, so I wear my shirt.
Yeah.
Wow.
The stars at night.
Let me ask you a technical question, JC.
Deep in the heart of
Texas.
You see, JC, as you can all see, there's the reflection of the computer in my glasses. What have you done, JC, to make your life so perfect that I always see you on these shows? You're right in front of your screen, but I never see the screen in your glasses. What have you done?
Actually,
beautiful glasses.
You can see the light.
Vaguely, though. What do you
light,
dim?
If I go off, like if I take the light off, you get a little of it, but you start seeing the screen, right?
Oh, so there's something you put on?
It's just a bouncing light, and try and keep my pointy head aimed the right way, so I don't.
I understand. You're a man who guides many people. You're a trendsetter, a taste maker. Tex.
Cake baker, leaf raker. Don't you mess around with me.
He's a highwayman. He's Paul Revere of the show.
Look,
Mr. Yes, of course. Where's Dr. Blevins?
Dr. Blevins is in the audience there, and
why isn't Dr. Blevins on the show? I sent him the link via the Facebook. Well, he's got the link anyway. He can pop in. Come on in, Dr. Blevins.
And he, of course, provided my great camera, so
Yes, and the Deborah will be joining us, and now will be popping in and out. We also have Graham Nolan will be popping in, and Andy Smith.
This is just like a party.
Oh, wait, before I start, I forgot to say that today's episode of the PopXP, Ursat's PopXP, brought to you via Billy Tucci's, the Billy Tucci YouTube channel. Today's celebrity endorsement is from the one, the only, Mr. Telly Savalas.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby? Who loves you?
I'm
the one who gets to talk about. Did you realize that if I had done this sitting at my desk, we would have had the poster, we would have had Telly Savalas behind me on the wall.
That's right. Wow.
I have a movie poster, 70s movie poster.
I ask you, Steve, is not Telly Savalas behind us all?
The man's behind us, in front of us. He is the kind of man that is his greatness. He's both way ahead of us and way behind us all at the same time. He's got our back and he's guiding our fronts. Yes, some people say, who has lived the exemplary life that I wish to follow? And everyone kind of starts with Telly Savalas, right? And then we go, and then next is and no one has a number two. It's Telly Savalas. It's just beautiful.
It really is.
I mean, people don't understand. Telly Savalas was for 15, 20 years this character actor with a horseshoe, a dark hair around, and he played a frumpy guy or the crazy guy or this guy. Suddenly he goes all total shaved, puts on some cool glasses, quits smoking and starts sucking on a lollipop. And he literally, people don't understand this, he literally became an international global sex symbol. Not just the U.S. because of Kojak. And this man was a sex symbol in Europe, in Asia. He'd have a part this big in a movie, and they'd put his face on the poster because they know he'd put butts in the seats. I mean, this is just a great man.
A great man who's unfortunately beneath us now.
No.
So Billy, we are here. We are, as much as we're here for fun, we are here for a purpose. Let's talk about Haikyo. What's going on?
Thank you for bringing that up. let me see if I can open the page up. I can share the screen. We are now in our final 3 hours, 4 hours, less than 4 hours.
Hashtag free PopXP.
That's right. So let's
look at that.
Oh, it just look at that. Oh man, 41,000. I think that was from our dear friend Ernest Krieger, who who said he contacted Debbie and he said he's going to get the I Want It All package. So thank you so much. And here we are. We are coming in on 700 backers, only 15 backers away. Thank each and every one of you. Nile Scala, welcome back.
Hello, Niall.
Bye, Niall.
Hello. So, but guys, please, we get 3 hours to go, and this ends. Great news, Stephen. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Haikyo Rough Cut Edition goes to press next week.
Excellent.
Most likely, the Haikyo Pure Line editions also go to press next week, and we are on schedule for Haikyo to go to the color editions, the hardcovers,
3 weeks or 3 weeks.
all the special editions go to press the end of not next week, but the week after that.
This
So-
is getting to be a really creepy Brady bunch.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, Doctor.
How goes it, Doctor?
Doctor.
I
Doctor.
decided to be all
Don.
green with
I'm-
envy.
I'm just
for
gonna
Halloween.
keep hitting JC on the top of the head.
There you go.
Don't do
Why should
that.
today be any different?
Don't do that, Steve. You're gonna get us. You're gonna get us demonetized if you continue to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, don't want
Oh, what
that.
happened here? Look at this. What is this?
Thank you, Brian.
Amateurish. Look at this. I don't know what happened there. Well, anyway, getting back to this, the Kickstarter for the Kickstarter fans out there. Again, we have 3 hours left of this campaign. This is for our Kickstarter exclusive edition. We do have the 45,000 Nile Scala. Thank you very much for this beautiful promo. I also the Debbie Tucci trading card by our friend Bruce Dwayne is complete, and I can show you that. I posted that in the oh gee. Crickets. Where is my little thing here?
Updates.
Yeah, I'm looking at my update. I'm trying to find my updates. There we go. Was that Don who said that?
No.
Oh, that's not that update. It's all updates.
Hey there, Randy. How are you?
What's happening, everyone?
Holy crap! Look at this. You know what? This is pretty cool. Hang on, Andy. I'm gonna pull off. I just want to show everybody the Debbie Tucci trading card.
We want to see.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
do
out
it.
so nice. I want to make it a cover, and she's not happy about it.
You're looking at the comments? You think it's in the comments?
You think it might be in your
No.
campaign?
I'm looking over
You might
here.
be
at
in
my
your
other monitor.
campaign?
Here we go. Here it is. Hang on. I thought, like, what a cool cover. Look at that. Look at isn't that cool? Look at that. So that's Debbie
cool.
posing for me in 1994. And in
Wow.
atop that, my mother who owned a clothing manufacturing shop, she made that little costume. And it was just too
Boy.
big. We never used it. But there's Deb posing for me. And
Love it.
Bruce
Wow.
made a great card. And everyone who gets a physical pledge, you guys all get that trading card.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pop out for 1 second. I'm gonna.
That's cool.
There we go. Look at this now.
Boom.
What?
Look at this.
Would you look at
Uncle
that?
Ben.
Look at that.
Impressive group.
Let's put Mr. Andy Smith in the center square.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yay.
Oh, it's about the three balding guys all together. Yay!
Oh,
Yay.
we got it.
Oh, and they all have glasses. Oh, okay. Andy's out of that one.
Everyone's
Yeah,
got glasses.
I took
Hey,
them
I wanna
off.
You know,
ask-
when I
wanna
shave
ask
my
if
head,
JC is newly shaved on his head. He looks
What?
newly shaved.
Who does?
JC
no, actually, it's 2 days. I
looks super
in
fresh.
hand.
Obviously,
Just
obviously,
where the lighting is.
well,
I'm just
obviously,
saying, it looks so fresh. It probably needs a secret identity and a cape.
Well,
I want to hold my mic too. Hey.
strangely enough, Doctor, when I first shaved off my full beard and shaved my head, I thought I got a Marvel book to write.
that's funny. That's very good for like
No,
people would think he's Evans, Brian. What the hell's his name?
Bendis, no,
Right?
Oh,
Bendis-
Bendis. There you
Bendis
go.
lost his
it's not virtually
Detroit's exclusive agreement, huh?
Yeah.
He had a mega deal. I heard he was getting paid half Stephen Peros's page rate for writing Haikyo, $1,000 a page he was making.
Jesus,
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
mega deal.
Steve's like, what?
Yeah,
There's
right.
no way
Mecca,
super.
Mecca,
I'm not even
Mecca.
making half that.
Yeah.
Boom.
So okay, I want to go around everyone, and we got things. We got wares to hawk. Stephen Peros, your Indiegogo campaign is closing tomorrow.
Yes, yes. I will
Stoker
tell you.
and Wells.
I am I think I'm the newest person to the party about as a graphic novel writer. As some of you know, some of you don't know, I come from film, TV, and theater, and I entered the world of graphic novels in 2017 with this book, Stoker and Wells. I did a Kickstarter, and we raised all the funds to put up this book, which was about a fictitious meeting between a late 20s no good Nick divorcee who couldn't get his life together, named H.G. Wells, who crossed paths with a 40-something theater manager named Bram Stoker, and how the two men go on a singular 48-hour adventure in time that leads to both man's first great work, which is Dracula and the Time Machine. It's a 94-page graphic novel. So we raised all the funds on Kickstarter. The book came out and was delivered to the backers at the very end of 2019, what we call those glorious pre-COVID days, and it's been on it's on Amazon, and it's on Comixology. And Billy Tucci, my dear friend, who helped me and helped guide me through much of this book and did this glorious, very limited edition variant cover.
And I signed it.
And it's signed Art Nouveau cover from the art style that existed in the late 1800s when the book takes place. Billy said, "Why don't you put it on Indiegogo?" And I said, "But it's not I don't need crowdfunding. The book's already done. It's out there." He said, "No. There are fans who just want books, who like to shop just on Indiegogo." So 60 days ago, almost 60 days ago, 2 months ago, I put the book up on Kickstarter. We're selling out just the very limited. We only have 12 copies left of Billy's variant cover. We're not going to print up anymore. We put the book up. We put some special exclusives. We reduced the price from anywhere else you could buy it by 20%. We reduced the price of the download. We have bookmarks. We have cool Stoker and Wells mugs, and we've done great. And so we're on. We're on until Pacific time, midnight tomorrow, so 9 p.m. East Coast time. We're in the store mode there, so it's ready to ship. We literally ship everything out within 24 hours. So the fans have been happy, and I hope you all take a look, particularly those who are Billy's fans. I can't stress enough how gorgeous this cover is, this edition is, and how fast it's going. So people really want this edition of the book, this variant cover. And once those, I think, 12 copies go that are left, that's it. It's done. It's already a collectible. So I hope you all take a look.
And your book is, yeah, I bought. Well, we're celebrating. I said, you want a glass of wine, and you ignored me.
Because you're not supposed to have one.
I'm not having one. I'm having four.
Yeah.
Stephen,
Yes.
so Steve, all these books are printed and
Yes.
and basically shipping on demand
Yeah,
now.
it's essentially an on-demand shop, and that's what we've done since we launched right here on the PopXP 2 months ago. The fans really, we were so heartened. The fans, we set a modest goal of $1,000. I think we eclipsed it on the show, and so people keep buying. We've shipped copies to Sweden, to France, to the UK, to Canada. So many countries who have tuned in, who've discovered the book. We're fans of yours, Billy Tucci. This way, fans of yours, Billy Tucci. So, and you get a ton of bookmarks. The bookmarks are really glorious. I didn't want to shill too much on Billy's Haikyo show, but if you go to our website, if you go to the Kickstarter page, Stoker and Wells, we're the only Stoker and Wells Kickstarter page. I'll stick it in the chat or something. But you'll see the glorious art. Our reviews are tremendous through all the comics media, Comics Beat, Dark Media, Indie Comics. LA Weekly gave us a great review. Ralph Macchio, the former senior editor at Marvel for 15 years, he wound up giving us an incredible endorsement, which we have there on the screen. So it's a book I'm very proud of. The artist Barry Orkin who Billy and I have known since 7th grade, who worked on all the early Way of the Warrior, coloring and inking.
Designed all our logos and things like that.
Logos. He's a tremendous artist. He did glorious work. You can see many sample pages. So I hope you'll all at least take a look, if only to see Barry's work, and ideally maybe click a button or two and take Stoker and Wells home.
Yes.
And that's my
There
pitch.
you go.
And what's so it's
And Jason,
Kickstarter.
let me actually be grateful to the man who is in the bottom left corner of your screen, JC Tex Vaughn, who was the editor on this book, a very valued editor on this book because it was my first graphic novel. JC is a great editor. And that partially because he's a great writer of comics and graphic novels, as well as screenplays and pilots. But it was good to have an editor who was a writer as well. And I learned, and I'm grateful to you, Jeff, for it. I learned a lot from you, and I think the book is remarkably better as a result of your input. So thank you, JC.
There you go, Old Bean. And Andy Smith, you've got a campaign going on too there, don't you, brother?
I do.
You want to let's talk it up, bro? I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, man. Fun superhero adventure. Oh, my voice. Yeah, First Man, fun superhero adventure in Silver Age style, I would say. Luke Henry is a college kid imbued with this power from another world. And Monarch, the big baddie of the story, is looking to collect all the powers. There was these 10 essences, and they're all scattered throughout the universe, inhabiting different souls on different worlds. And Luke Henry's the lucky one on Earth that got it. Not so lucky, though, because Monarch's coming to collect, and he wants to collect them all so he can become the most, I guess you could say, omnipotent villain there is, the most powerful. So Luke doesn't realize what he has. Penumbra is the female of the story, and she has a special tie to that essence that inhabits Luke Henry. So she is, you could say, playing both sides, playing First Man a little bit, playing Monarch side a little bit, just to get her own way, 'cause she has her own agenda. 64-page graphic novel, square-bound, and that's what it is. So, and it's going good.
Heroinberg is our moderator, and see if Heroinberg can get the link to that, and we'll pop that up here.
Yeah, cool.
So everybody can see. You know what I loved about I love about First Man is that it which sadly in a way is that it harkens back to really the I don't want to say the golden age of comics, but
Yeah.
great comics. I mean, it's action. You've got beautiful women, big hulking, superhero-esque, men. It's a blast for the, literally. It's fast moving. It's just.
Yeah, it's fast paced. It's the stuff that, when I got into comics in the early 80s, and then I went and got stuff from the 70s and stuff. It seemed that the formula, and I could be wrong, but from my memory, it seemed that the formula for a 20-page book was a third of it dealt with the regular characters. So say Spider-Man, a third of the book would deal with like Peter Parker, and then 2/3 of the book would deal with Spider-Man stuff. And I always thought that was a nice way to do it. And obviously it wasn't just the first 7 pages Parker, the rest. It was interspersed. But if you really kind of went through and counted, it just seemed that was the way it was. 2/3 hero stuff, 1/3 personal life stuff. And I think out of 12 issues, if you throw an issue in, it's all Parker with barely any Spider-Man. That's fine through the course of a year. But when you're just starting out, the title of the book's First Man. That's what I want to tell the story about. Is there stuff about Luke Henry? Of course there is. But the bulk of it is when he's in his hero form and the adventure that he goes through battling against Monarch and dealing with Penumbra and stuff as well. And that's what I mean when I say harkening back, because that's really how I remember those comics. And I mean, I still collect back issues and stuff. And, that's, if I'm buying a Spider-Man book, I want to read about Spider-Man. No, nothing against Peter Parker, but he is part of Spider-Man, but I'd rather deal with Parker when he's in the costume or without the mask on, and just have a little bit of the Daily Planet stuff. Yeah. So,
hey, to our comic historians like yourself and Tex over here and Don as well, when did this happen? When did this change come about that went from, the great Marvel stuff from Stan, you know, from being Stan being editor in chief to Roy Thomas to Shooter. You know, what was the change in direction where you went from, as you said, you know, Peter Parker's in the Spider-Man costume 2/3 of the comic, and the 130, you know, and the 130 isn't or less. It's you know, it's compelling. Get to know his home life, you know,
Right.
to know Peter's, you know, the trials, tribulations of being a teenager. You know, when do you guys think that changed from now? You know, Iron Man puts on his costume for 3 pages, and he's Tony Stark sitting around in a conference table talking to the other Avengers.
To me, it seemed it was honestly with you can almost say when Marvel did the Ultimates with the Avengers and they saw how well it did, that it was almost like, hey, we should try and do some of this in the regular universe stuff. So instead of, and once again, this is stuff I loved as a kid, you'd see the Avengers sitting around the kitchen table in the 80s and 70s and even a bit in the 90s wearing their costumes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a second thought. It's like, yeah, I'm
Right.
Captain America. I'm walking around and that's what you want to see, because that's why I'm buying the book. You know, even if he's just having a meal with Thor, they were in their costumes. And then it seemed sometime 20 years ago, having shawarma.
Yeah,
and
like
they,
at the end.
and they did that in the movie. They were all decked out in their costumes when they were doing that. But then like 20 some years ago, it seems that it was like, oh, we need to ground this stuff more. They wouldn't be wearing their costumes all the time. Put cap and t-shirt and jeans as he's walking around. And then when it's time to fight, it's, you know, what was that line from the movie? Suit up. And it's like, in a movie, that's a different story. It's told differently. It's a totally different aspect visually because it's a movie and obviously moving pictures and stuff. But in comics, you've got 20 pages. Keep them in costumes. I mean, that's the fun of it, I think.
Yeah, the part of the thing is that there were, every time you have somebody successful do something innovative, you know, have a bunch of lightweights imitate it.
Right.
And there are some great writers and artists who can pull that off and not disrupt the flow of what you guys were talking about, that sort of natural tendency for us to like the issues if we're buying Spider-Man to see Spider-Man.
Right.
But there's a great writer can do the exact opposite and you'll still love it.
Right.
But guys doing pale imitations of that in the 90s, the second half of the 90s and onward has been about pale imitations. You know, we can't forget that the guys who wrote the early comics grew up reading classics and actually going outside. and a lot of the guys who are doing it now know of comics, but they grew up reading comics, not reading the great novels that inspired some of these stories, at least the understanding of story itself.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also think there was a period where Marvel started giving writing assignments to editors.
Mm-hmm.
And it became unnecessarily incestuous. And that had been something that had been purged in the 80s. And we were better for it. You know, the 80s, you know, we have Fantastic Four, Walter Simonson's Thor, 2 different Miller runs on Daredevil, which are drastic, but both grab the character. You can throw all that stuff in there. And yeah, it doesn't mean there's no clunkers in that period. It doesn't mean that at all. But the high points were really high. And then we progress on from that. But first, let's take a step back. One of the fundamental things is between the early Marvel heroes, and this is where the people who only want to give credit to Steve Ditko or Jack Kirby miss what Stan did. Superman, I mean, Clark Kent is a front for Superman. Bruce Wayne, while possessing the motivation for Batman, Bruce Wayne is a sad also ran compared to Batman. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Okay, so when we boil them down to their basics, when Marvel gets away from that, they're making a mistake. When DC dwells too much in the way that they were started, they make a mistake. And that comes down to editors, individual creators, teams of creators, when they had group editors and things like that. There's for every era that we talk about where there's lousy comics, there's great comics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to jump in as the new guy in the room. Billy, a lot of our discussion of story of Return of the Warrior, Haikyo, and our the completion of this relaunch trilogy, which is as yet untitled, was about Anna Ishikawa and the personal, and part of what I think we both had our eye on is, okay, well, the story comes from Anna's story, and is it safe to say that after a while, after so many years, you wanted to? I mean, what I was getting from you, it was a sense that you enjoy, and as anyone who's seen the pages, you're rocking the action sequences and all of those set pieces with Anna as she, but so much of your passion for this book is Anna Ishikawa and Anna as opposed to, and I think that's the key to this, as someone who just comes from storytelling, just from pure storytelling first, is the fans won't have a problem if Anna Ishikawa is as interesting as she. They won't have a problem if in the story you're telling that the alternate, alter ego is as interesting. They don't want to feel like, oh, we're on the alter ego story, I can't wait to get back to the other story. So you have to construct a story that is just as interesting.
Steve, you're really correct in identifying this. Mm-hmm. And now it's sort of a third tier that I was talking about. I was talking between DC and thing created Shi and Way of the Warrior that he did that made it intrinsic. And Shi is the conflict of Shi and Anna is intrinsic to both Anna and...
Yes, right. The story is not bifurcated. It isn't like, oh, now we're watching Anna's story and now we're going to go over and watch what Shi's story is. And that's, I think, the problem with these kinds of books. And people don't understand that it has to seem like ultimately you're watching one story, and they have to complement and feed off of each other. It's sort of like when you write a TV pilot. If you have a workplace and a home place, and you're having two storylines that episode, they can't seem like two episodes. They both have to be serving one thematic master, and they they inform each other, they help each other, they coexist and come to one climax. Yes. And I think that's what. And Billy's done a great job on that with Shi all throughout the book.
I also think I was able to, we introduced the audience to Anna being a Gemini. Her birthday is June 12th. And because I wanted that duality of the character, I wanted to make both sides of the scale to be as interesting. And you did see her a lot as Anna Ishikawa. And again, these were really, now Andy, I don't know if you know what Shi, the new Shi story takes place 20 years after the last Shi story. Right. So Anna's now, she's in her mid 40s. She's a mom. She's put down her naginata. She's dropped her martial past. She quite frankly hasn't had a comic book because she hasn't needed a comic book. She has a nice, peaceful existence. Then that all changes in Return of the Warrior. And Steve and I had a lot of fun delving into this. And actually, I had called Steve to go over some story beats of what I was trying to write. And I was so impressed with his questions and then his answers and helping me out. I called him up after the conversation of, I guess you'd say, what, scotch and cigars? Maybe
I think so. I think it was. Maybe bourbon in my glass. But
phone conversation. And I called him back and I'm like, would you write this with me? Can you write it? But then again, and we did have a lot of fun. But again, getting back to the part of the action, remember J.C. Vaughn, She Return of the Warrior was 44 pages of story and art. And then we were like, I said, we need 4 more pages. I need 4 pages of action. I need 4 more pages of action. And I think Steve was taken aback a little bit because he was like, yeah, I'll write 4 more pages because I'm like, I'm giving the writer more pages to write.
Yeah.
Sure. And the same thing with now with Haikyo, which is done, that Haikyo was originally supposed to be 48 pages, and now it's 58.
Mm-hmm. What I think was really great, as both the guy who's been editing and the guy who has been a fan since Shi #1, I think is great about this is that you guys, I mean, we collectively, but you guys really paid attention and had genuine concern that we get a great balance of action and story.
Yeah.
And I remember how concerned we were with Return of the Warrior, and going back and forth, and we'd add this and we'd add that. And when you see the final product that we all sweat over, man, it is such a great balance.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I mean, I rarely am involved in patting myself on the back, but I'll just do it on your behalf. You guys just killed it. You look at it, and then I know I've said this over and over. Haikyo is even better, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys something coming from a writer standpoint, and Andy, let me know if you agree with me. I prefer drawing action any day of the week over drawing two people sitting at a cafe.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Now, right now, and how do you guys feel like Steve, Jeff, Don, how do you guys feel about that when it comes to writing that? How do you do you prefer, or now, Steve, you coming in as someone who's relatively new to the industry, believe it or not, that it's only been 2.5 years or so that you've been in comics. How do you feel coming from someone who's written, like The Cat's Meow, one of my favorite films, which is a real story-driven, there was a murder, gunfire, things like that in it, sex. But it was a real character-driven film, and it took place for the most part. 95% of it took place on a ship, on a yacht. Well, so how did you come about? And again,
the rules are the same to me across all mediums, which is there's no such thing as a scene that's just about character. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as a scene that's just about, we got to bring backstory in. So we will stop the story to have a scene with two people having coffee and talking about backstory or the past. You have to be moving the story forward. I'll point to when Anna goes to visit Pete in prison, and it's a dialogue scene, but it is moving. First off, it's an interesting location. Young writers, and I say this from film and TV, every scene seems to take place at Starbucks over a cup of coffee. If I see one more freaking scene, two people sit at Starbucks having a cup of coffee. I said, isn't there somewhere more interesting? Can't the conversation be on the drive somewhere? Can it be? Find a way. If the story is ultimately going to be about a doctor's appointment and tension around that, don't go to Starbucks. Have it in the waiting room, and there's tension there because you're about to get called in on this skit. So you're adding to it, but you always have to be moving story forward, and that's what we were doing in any scene of yours that has talking heads of some kind. They're at a crime scene, so we're also investigating. This is all active, There's always arrows point. It's always things forcing you to turn the page. If you're not doing that, your book dies. Doesn't matter how clever you are with dialogue, your story it cannot be what we call in television a story stall. It can't just suddenly stop the story for something else. You've got to move the story, especially with you guys. You guys have more limited real estate than even people who write half-hour comedies or one-hour dramas. It's like, no, I got to get the story done in these many pages. So this is my training in economy has the college credits have transferred well into this school because I'm constantly using that. And before I even send pages to Billy, I've edited and self-edited. And used as a challenge. I said, we said we've only bracketed 2 pages for this scene. I've got to send him 2 pages. And then it's Billy who says, I need a little more.
Billy.
I suppose what Steve is referring to real quickly is location, and to make I think that we are the first comic that I'm aware of that takes place in and around the Brooklyn Botanic Garden.
Yeah.
If anyone's been to Brooklyn Botanic Garden, it is this oasis of a little bit of Japan. There are 200 cherry blossom trees. It looks like it looks like you step out of time and into a samurai film. It's so tranquil, so beautiful. They've got Japanese architecture. All the gardening is Japanese. The design, Zen gardens, things like that, and of course the cherry blossoms. It's just so serene, so beautiful, but just such a grand setting in the middle of the city. That's this high-walled complex. I think it's 200 acres or something like that. 100 acres. I think it's 100 acres. But then there's another thing, and I definitely know we're the first ones that, I don't know, Andy or Don, if you guys are aware of this, off of the coast of the Bronx, right, Steve? Or is it
Yeah.
or Bronx or Harlem up there? Is 1,000-foot prison barge that the New York State Corrections Facility has, and there are hundreds and hundreds of inmates on this because they don't have the room for them.
Really?
And they're
I didn't
floating
know that.
barge. I don't know, Niall, if you could bring that up or something or find it.
Well, that was so fun to find, Billy, and I got to finally experience everything because I also teach film and TV writing. I tell my students all the time, research, because you're going to come up with stuff and it's going to be a big breath of fresh air. Like, oh, wow, that's so cool. So Billy said something offhanded like, oh, the prison I'm thinking of, I think they closed down. So I just started researching prisons. And then when I saw that there was a freaking prison barge, I sent the photo to Billy.
It's floating on the East River.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. Billy, I don't know. Can you bring up Harold's comment?
Which one? Herrenberg?
The one I get the sense that Billy Tucci would not.
Going outside underrated these days. Heroes of Gods.
It's three comments from the end.
I only have one word to say to that. Ball.
Yeah.
You know, Albert Brooks had the comedian Albert Brooks had a very funny line. He said, if anyone who knows the movie My Dinner with Andre, it's just two guys in real time over dinner having fascinating conversation. I love the film. I saw it, kind of blew my mind when I was a kid. And he said, wouldn't it be a wonderful world we lived in if My Dinner with Andre made $300 million at the box office? Which I thought was very telling. It's like that we live with so many people want to go see My Dinner with Andre, not just a niche amount of people.
Stephen Peros, we have two North Babylonians in the house. My brother Vinny is here, and Flo Seisman. So
hello.
Hometown.
There you go.
Hey, guys, good to see you. I think my brother Vinny graduated with your brother John. Is your brother John class of 78? Do you know?
No, Mike was class of 78. My oldest brother, Mike.
He graduated with your brother, Mike.
Yeah. Excellent. I hope I don't have to apologize for him because I won't do it.
I got Mike's other book here.
Yeah, my brother, my older brother Mike, was my well, I'm the youngest of three, but he's my passport to film history, and is just later in life has graduated into being a published author, a biographer of. I just wrote a book on Jose Ferrer, the great Jose Ferrer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Miguel Ferrer used to write comic books.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
that? In the 90s.
I did not know that.
He co-wrote Billy Mooney.
Yeah, he and Billy Mummy worked for Pied Piper. I think they did some,
and they also did a Comet Man at Marvel.
Right, Comet Man. So small world.
Wow.
I don't know if that's Jose Ferrer or Miguel Ferrer.
No, Miguel is his son.
Yeah, Miguel wrote it with Billy Mummy.
Yeah.
Who played Cloris Leachman's son in four times.
Oh, the great Cloris Leachman.
Oh, wow.
Rest in peace, Cloris Leachman.
Yeah.
Rob Luker.
Rob Luker. Love Mel Brooks. Huge influence.
So, all right, Tex.
Indeed.
You've got a project going on now, don't you, as well?
And in the great spirit of your original No Fan Left Behind campaign, I took your message to heart, which is people want to buy where people want to buy. And, I question why any of us would ignore any revenue stream if we're trying to, make a go of this. So I have launched my novel, Second, which is a murder mystery set in my hometown of Hearst, Texas, where the murder rate has really, truly, in the last skyrocketed to 3/4 of a person a year. And it's a private eye novel. And we had, I'd done this is being debuted right now.
Oh, nice.
This is
a gorgeous cover.
This is not a cover.
Oh, it's not.
This is a spot illustration, just like like yours is being colored.
Oh, wow.
And the spot illustrations are all by different artists. Billy did one of them of the two main characters, Donovan Bay and Michelle Benson. And this one is Hearst police detective named Ginger Baker. There are no Eric Clapton appearances, however. And Mark Wheatley just did this, literally just got this to me this evening. And so this is the debut of this piece. I'm really excited about it. And there's going to be a total of 8 spot illustrations in the book. And that will only be in the deluxe version. The offerings on Kickstarter and Indiegogo are basically the same. Billy's art is on, for his spot illustration, is on Kickstarter. And I was going to go with Indiegogo with that, Billy, but last time we, not a lot of nibbles. So
really? It's interesting. Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah. So when I moved your art over to Kickstarter from a candlestick company, boom, it went immediately. And so this time, it's been 2 days, so maybe it'll go. But there are, in addition to the regular edition of the book, the deluxe edition, which has the spot illustrations, there are also a couple of opportunities to have characters named after you. There's a person of interest on one of them, and suspects on the other. There's male and female on one, and just a guy on another. One of them will turn out to be a red herring, and one of them may turn out to be, one or more of them may turn out to actually be involved in one of the cases being described in the book. And so I will say they appear in multiple chapters. So if somebody wants to do that, it's just named, they're not being illustrated. So it's just $300, but it's sort of fun. We did a couple of them already and have had a nice reaction to that. And the quotes have been coming in on the book, have just been great.
Excellent. Cool. And Herrenberg, if you got a second, if you could find that for us. I know I wish you sent it to me, but I'm no Nile Scala.
What do you need? You want the link in?
Yeah, for Jeff's.
What does Lincoln have to do with it?
we can use a man like Lincoln today, couldn't we?
I was just sorry while you guys were talking about 4. I was muted. Blevins had called me and let me know that he wasn't going to be able to jump back on. But that congratulations to you and everything with Shi, and congratulations to all you guys in your campaigns, and that he loves you all deeply. But his special affection and heart goes out tonight to Mr. Stephen Peros.
Oh, are you serious? Oh,
yes.
That's too kind.
And Mr. Peros, you have to jump off, old chum?
I do have to jump off. I just want to say, Billy, it has been truly I could not have predicted that you and I would be working on Shi together. The book, the book. This has been an incredibly pleasurable experience, both creative. That rare occasion where it is both of us have been firing on all pistons, and yet not hating each other through the process. We've actually had a great time. I may be just speaking for myself. Debbie might have a different story from her side of town.
There's one book to go, Steve.
Yeah, there's one book to go. We can tear it down here, right here and now.
You guys are in cahoots.
Yeah. So
because you live in LA, and I had to suffer the wrath of our darling Deborah, who has the company's best interest and the IP's best interest in mind.
Absolutely.
Because we had an earth-shattering revelation at the end of Shi Haikyo.
That's right.
We
sold her. We sold her.
Yeah, we sold her totally.
I have to say, as a good publisher, studio chief, network head, she basically said, "I'm open." She said, "I'm open. Prove it to me." And she actually, that pushed me and Billy to really talk, really brainstorm, come up with pages, which we probably on our own wouldn't have gotten to until we started working on the book.
Right.
But then we started like getting really excited about it. And we just went crazy over this new storyline to the point that if Debbie had still said no, Billy would have had to kill her.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
I'd have to leave her. Well, everybody,
run.
Guys, there are 30 hours left to Stoker and Wells. It's a fantastic, massive graphic novel. It's completely done. We're doing right now. There's
completely done. You will see all sorts of glorious things, all sorts of wonderful, wonderful things in this book. 94 pages, beautifully put together, thanks to the professionalism all the way through the line of publishing that J.C. Vaughn brought me to. So
if you like either Dracula or The Time Machine, if you like great adventure stories, time travel stories. There are so many things all wrapped up into this one book. And when you read this, you will no longer be able to think that these stories aren't related.
Right.
No, I get confused myself sometimes. I get so immersed in it, especially after reading both books again, reading biographies of both men, because I'm very, very serious about adhering to who these two men, not creating versions of Stoker and Wells that didn't exist. So they are, as the tagline says, the absolutely true story of Bram Stoker and H.G. Wells, give or take 48 hours, because it really is who these two men were at this time. And so it's been, if you're a fan of either man, it's just been a blast writing it and getting it and finding audiences around the world who want to read it and write me about it. So it's discounted right now. The exclusiveness of the IGG is that we are discounting there from anywhere else you can buy it. And there's also merch on there that you can't get anywhere else. Very cool stuff. And the only place you can get Billy's cover and signed, because even when we had this cover for as a Kickstarter exclusive, it was not signed. So it went out just like that. So this is signed not only by Billy, but signed by me inside. And only, I think, 12 or 13 copies left before. That's it. So if you're a fan of Billy, I highly recommend you take a look.
And two things real quick. I know you have to go, Steve. One, for those of you that may not know, but for those of us, swells in Hollywood and, in film circles, it is the secret most often whispered, secret most often told.
Now, again, if I was in my office, that poster would have been over my other shoulder.
Well, it's also the great Eddie Izzard's favorite graphic novel.
Eddie Izzard, the great comedian, a thinker, a philosopher, and he starred as he was Charlie Chaplin in a movie that I wrote called The Cat's Meow. Here's a great, beautiful, story of how people step up that you didn't even realize would. I'd been out of touch with Eddie for a long time. I had lots of emails. When you raise money through Kickstarter, there's social media and so forth, but everything I read said it's one-on-one interaction with people. And so I would send out, emails, one-on-one emails to people. They were sort of boilerplate with a little personal on top. And I had an old email for Eddie, who I'm sure gets a million emails to this email. He didn't give me some exclusive one. He gave me his general one. Next morning, he put, I don't want to say the amount, but an extraordinary amount that he put into our Kickstarter. And
it was extraordinary.
Yeah, just blew my mind. I literally, like, picturing my dreaming. So I wrote him, and he said, I just want to see you get to the finish line on this. This looks awesome. So Kickstarter is ultimately incredibly heartening. Yes, you're surprised. Well, I'm surprised that person didn't contribute, but no one actually needs to. No one should be expected to contribute. So when they do, it's always gratifying. And when people do more than you ever thought, it truly touches your heart. The community of fans, friends, associates who just step up.
Especially right now, Steve. I mean, I think you're dead on right. Mm-hmm. But especially right now, where we know even the people who are employed, there's this, the health situation. Forget about politics. Forget about everything else. The health situation. We don't know the ambiguity that we're all surrounded by, the pressure we're all under, and that people come out and support these campaigns is really humbling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part of and Andy, you were at the South Carolina Comic-Con, right? With me. All right. Yeah. So remember that great green room they had and all that food? Oh yeah. They had the green room that Robert Young put together, and so I'm sitting in there, and who walks in is Carrie Elways, right? So I'm like, oh my God, it's Carrie Elways. Holy shit. So they have all of us, Don, this is how cool this show is. It's the cartoonists, the writers, the artists. We're all in the same room as all the movie stars and stuff, eating lunch with them. So wow. Sits down, not two people away from me or across from me. And I'm like, and I said, Carrie Elways. And he's like, oh, hell, because obviously with somebody, right, for being in the room, somebody, and I said, you were in my friend Stephen Peros's film, The Cat's Meow. And he said nothing but wonderful things about you and the adventures you guys had when you were all in Greece.
Oh, yeah. He was a blast to hang with.
Stephen, my friend. So I think, and then I put you on the phone with him. Remember, I put you guys on the phone together. And I
was in San Diego at Comic-Con in San Diego while you were there. And I think that's where it was, either there or I was at WonderCon. Because
you're
called me and I was
WonderCon.
on the floor of a convention.
It was WonderCon because we
Yeah.
were together at San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
he went, oh, right. Yes, of course.
I think that might have been with Eddie, that when you guys filmed the Cat's Meow, and Steven, as the screenwriter of Peter Bogdanovich, invited Steve to be on set every day.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
Steve was there sitting next to Peter while he's making this film.
Wasn't that just an excuse to get him to be the chauffeur in that scene?
Yes, Steve became what's her name's chauffeur?
Joanna Lumley from Absolutely
Lumley,
Fabulous. Yes,
Oh,
from
wow.
AbFab. Yeah.
So yeah, and so but you guys were like a family because you were all in Greece.
Yeah, because because it was shot in Germany and it was shot in Germany and Greece. So all the cast was entirely Americans or Brits. So we were all strangers in a strange land. So we all bonded together. As a writer on set, I got adopted by the actors. So I would, have drinks in the bar, the Kempinski Hotel after every shoot day. The actors kind of, could ask me, could talk with me about script. They never overstepped my place. I'm never going to try to create any friction between the actors and the director. So I would support Peter's vision, or if they wanted me to communicate something to Peter in a way, that the director. But Carey was great. He's he's known as this stoically handsome guy from The Princess Bride.
Mhm.
And that's exactly not who he is. He is a goofball character actor. So when he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights, that's what he loves to do. He can quote Monty
Mhm.
Python up and down. He can quote Mel Brooks, even before he was in a Mel Brooks film, up and down. So that's when he played John Houseman in Cradle Will Rock with a bald head and a paunch. That's who he likes to be. He's kind of like a character actor trapped in a leading man. is who he is. So
I
thanks
loved
you
him on
back in
Psych.
touch.
I loved him on Psych.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Oh,
he's terrific.
psych. Yeah.
All right, Steven.
All righty.
Go,
Bye
my
for me. Keep it going. Billy,
Bye,
I'm so
Steven.
thrilled. A pleasure meeting all of you and re-meeting all
Yeah,
of you.
pleasure
Take care.
meeting you.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
All right, now, Don, I got to ask you some questions. Andy was alluding to, and JC. We were talking about what happened to Marvel, right? What happened to DC, and in a sense, they become a parody of themselves. Did you realize with your new Indiegogo campaign, X-Farce, that you were ahead of the curve? That they are actually living your comic book right now. DC is actually living your parody comic.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I got into this, got into this business mainly in the 80s and the 90s, and then I took almost a 20-year hiatus, and now I come back and they're down. Everybody's going down the tubes, the big two, and I find out they're doing all these gender swaps with characters and just all these really strange storylines. And the group was talking about the heyday in the 80s, with Byrne and Claremont and Miller. That's what I grew up reading, and I just loved that era. And I really, I was really inspired by those guys. And when I came back, I just wanted to make something that was going to make people laugh, because after 2020 and now 2021, we all really need something to try to make us laugh again. So that's kind of the basic premise behind bringing back X-Farce.
So walk us through it. What's the story?
You want me to share my screen, bud?
Yes, please.
Can I do that? All right.
Do it. I got a friend of mine to back it that's a huge X-Men fan. I showed it to him, and he's like, "Oh, I got that when it first came out, but I'm definitely going to get this one as well."
That's incredible.
Right.
I love it.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's so good. So good.
So, I was just on your show yesterday, the regular show with you and Nile, and I introduced the PopXP special 3-pack, and now because of your hospitality, I decided to bring it back again. So, in a nutshell, if anyone is interested in backing this, you can get the featured tier instead of $75. $59 for all 3 cover versions, including the one that you see here, which is by my good friend Bill Mouse. This is a redraw of his original 1992 Eclipse comic book, the very first project we ever worked on. And so he drew this, and then we have the amazing Rob Willis. Let me show you that.
God, yeah.
I only previewed this with.
I think I still have it in. I might still have it in here.
Oh, in the brand?
Yeah, I still have it here. Yep. Let me pop it.
You
up.
want to show it? Okay,
Yeah,
bud. Thank
there
you.
go.
Jeez.
Oh, nice.
All right.
I haven't seen it in color. I only saw it black and white.
He's a
Yeah.
Rob Willis is.
Wow.
He's very talented. He started off as a tattoo artist, and then
Did he really? Is that how he started?
well,
was
he
saying,
drew,
really?
and then he was a tattoo artist, and then he got into starting to mess around with comics and stuff. He's really good. I know he's booked. He's pretty sought after.
He's totally booked.
Yeah.
Did you want him for Medico?
Originally, yeah, but then like after getting some details and some things, I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, because it's Don guy, and I'm like, whatever.
He's behind on a few things, but I waited patiently for almost, gosh, I think he said he was going to have it for me in October, and I just got it like a few weeks ago. So that's kind of how far behind Rob is. But I was patient, and he was a good dude. So basically, you get that cover, which I just showed you, and then the one that Nile loves is our Kirby Lee homage, which I'll scroll down to. Let's see. There you go. So
Magneto, don't forget.
Yeah,
that.
Magneto is our plant-based villain from the '60s, and he's got his Brotherhood of Vile Misfits, the Toe, Hamster Mind, Quacksilver, and the Scarlet Wrench. And so they're basically we have a 10-page Lee and Kirby origin story of the ex-cons. And so we've got basically 7 different stories. It's an anthology. We cover everything from the 60s all the way up to the 2020 storyline, all in digital color, no ads, for $25 a piece. Or if you're a fan of the show, you can get it for $59. I'll run that promo until midnight tonight.
Excellent.
Cool.
And then last but not least, I'm bringing back the PopXP executive box deal, which for $169, if you like to buy that, I'll run down here. You basically get all 3 issues that I just described, which are signed: a metal lunchbox, a ceramic mug, and then a Bill Mouse pen and ink sketch card. So that's the deal of the evening. The two specials.
Cool.
Looks great, brother. Looks great. Well done, Mr.
Awesome.
Thank you. We got 3 days left. 3 days left, and then we'll see if we're gonna extend it or not. I have a feeling we probably will, but yeah, I have a lot of fun doing this. Mike Barron's in it. We got a lot of the old guys from the old '90s came back and lent a hand.
What did Bill think of that video of him at San Diego Comic-Con 1994? I don't know if you ever saw that, Andy.
No.
You should play that, Billy.
I could play it if you guys want. Now, should I play? I mean, I played it on the ladies' night, but
Do you have it still? Oh, it's on YouTube, isn't it?
on YouTube. I could just grab it on YouTube.
If you want to play it, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Bill he was just envious of all the hair he had back in the day.
Oh,
and now,
did he lose his hair?
yeah, he's bald.
But
Hey, JC, I wasn't aware that you were a Stargate writer, but we had the license in the '90s, and
absolutely, Don. Mark Haynes was my Los Angeles-based writing partner, and I wrote Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe for American Mythology.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and it's really funny. We were talking about sort of conventions when you hit the right kind of group. And I went to GateCon in Vancouver in 2018, and I had one book. I had one trade paperback with 2 covers, and I paid for my entire trip with the sales of that till we ran out. Then we went to a store and printed script books so we would have something to sell on the 3rd day.
Wow,
it's a massively underserved fan segment. And of course, from your own experience that, the continuity on the shows is so great. It's not binding. It actually is encouraging the fact that the characters remember from episode to episode what's happened to them.
all right. Andy, were you at the San Diego Comic
Still there,
Con?
buddy?
This is it.
What year? 94? Yeah,
I don't know if that was
I
me
was
or
actually. That was my first year, 94.
All right. Well, if you remember San Diego Comic Con 1994, you're going to see me. You're going to see Bill Mouse. You're going to see Francisca Polito. You're going to see my wife Debbie, and it's fucking funny. It's a time capsule when the San Diego Comic Con came. I'm sorry, NBC News came to the Comic Con.
Oh, cool.
And talked to us. So let's run it. It's real short, so let's run it.
Sure.
mullets were in style, just so the audience knows.
Wow. Look at that. That's old.
She's hot to me, Shimano.
Joe Lazaro weather. KNSD first news at 4.
Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret.
Echoing weird, Billy.
It is?
Never mind. There you go.
Superman, it no longer takes a male superhero to knock down the enemy. We visited the San Diego Comic Convention today and found that more and more comic heroes have brawn, brains, and breasts.
Breasts.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Crowd. People can't wait to get their hands on Superman, Spider-Man, and She. She
There it is.
means death in Japanese, and she's hot.
Because she's not a bimbo. She has intelligence. She has depth. She does not have the balloon boobs and the overly curvaceous body. She's realistic.
Some people might dispute that, but the fact is,
There's
readers
your boy.
love her. And mighty don't mess with me powerhouses.
Oh yeah, I like tougher women. You know, I'm not explaining like more independent type women.
The independence of them, that because they don't need a man to bring
He
them.
kind of looks like Tanya Harding.
Yeah.
He doesn't need
We're
a
ahead
man
of the
to help
curve,
her
man.
solve problems. In one obvious way, she stands out from the others.
Yeah, very well endowed. Very much so. We hear everything from.
Look at Fran, how cute she was.
Does Lady Death's back hurt? And all sorts of other rude things. But once they read the story, they realize that she's very cool and she's more than a breast. Or two breasts, or just one big, huge one.
The stories are very well written, and they give them a brain. Things that weren't there 20 years ago, but they still the sex is there because sex sells.
But their creators, nearly all
There's Bill.
men, deny practicing a sex sells strategy.
She does show skin, but I think tastefully. I mean, I'm going to keep the comic book tasteful.
Personally, and that there's nothing more beautiful in the whole world than the female form.
Wonder Woman has kept her form for some 50-some years, but some things never change. Teen boys are the primary readers of comic books, and many don't really like girls.
I think that there is a little bit more acceptance for female heroes than there was, but still it's not an equivalent balance. I think it's reflective of our readership and sometimes of our creative pool, still being primarily male.
Then again, Superman never had a swimsuit issue, and Lady Death does. The San Diego Comic Convention.
Nice.
I love that.
That's
And 16-year-old
awesome.
boys don't really like girls.
They don't like girls.
That's
Let me,
awesome.
You know what? One of the things I love about this clip, and I've seen it a number of times over the years, is it's so flippin' insane. Like, literally, if you put the accent on the right syllable,
Right.
you can make anything seem sinister.
Hey, Andy Smith was actually getting liquored up with Bart Sears at Cabo Cabo at the time that they were filming us on the floor at San Diego Comic Con. That's why he didn't make the video.
That probably was true because we were there in 94. So
Remember Cabo Cabo? That was the place we all went.
yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's where we
Yeah.
met Gene Simmons, and he hit on Debbie, hit on my wife.
Oh,
So disgusting. He was so like serpentine. He's just like, oh my god, he's just reptilian. And he's like, so what do you do? And he takes her hand, and I'm hanging out with John. Look at me, I'm dropping names now. I'm hanging out with John Romita Jr. and Mark Bagley and stuff. And she's like, I'm with him.
Was that 94?
Yeah.
I had my own Gene Simmons story in 96.
Oh, he
no.
came back in '96. Oh, great. The gift that keeps on
Is he
giving.
hitting on you too?
Gene Simmons.
No. I a friend chose who was a playmate wanted to do a comic,
Oh,
and And so I'm walking through. Frank was going to do covers. It was a whole thing. It never happened. But I'm on one of the main aisles, and Gene and his posse come walking the opposite direction. And I get the biggest, like, who are you to be with her?
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing at Comic-Con, man.
And she said it's purely sexual.
It was really, really funny because he was so flippin' obvious that he could not figure out the situation. And I was happy for the rest of the show just because he was pissed off.
Nice. Sure. I love the piss him. Because I was like, the heck were you, Gene Simmons? And you got to call him Gene Simmons, you know? So, anyway.
Call him by his full name?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons, do you want some water? Hey, Gene Simmons, how you doing today, Gene Simmons?
Yeah, Gene Simmons. Well, you know what it's like, Gene. That's how we were talking to you. Well, you know what it's like. Famous
Hey,
Gene.
Don.
You know?
I just yeah, it looks really great.
All right. Well, all right. So
Thank you.
We've been on for an hour, but I want to go to. Oh, we just made more money.
Oh, nice.
Well, oh my God.
Oh,
almost there.
Oh, top of the morning to you. Look at that.
That's cool.
We've been going on for an hour and a half. Not an hour and a half. We've been going on for almost an hour and 11 minutes. I'm tired. I've been working all day. I'm so happy we put this book to bed. It's now in Brian Miller's hands and God's and our
there
editor.
You go.
Nile Scala.
That's for you. Well, Don's like, I thought that was your background behind you.
Wait a minute. What is that?
Oh, I was just saying. I mean, it's a mess because I'm rearranging things, but that's that right there.
Holy crap! So wait, what behind you?
What's science?
That's how he cleans his house. He just green screens everything.
I think you're cleaning like it's screen, hon.
Hey, Andy, can I ask you a question? Hang on, let me
Yeah, go ahead.
When you do a campaign, right? You know, when you're doing a campaign or you're doing an issue, right? All you do is pretty much primarily focus on drawing the book, right? Writing it, creating it. Does your studio become like a bomb hit it?
Oh yeah.
And you just can't wait till it ends so you can then clean your studio and organize your life again.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Because that's where I'm at right now.
My favorite.
That's how it is with every project. It starts off nice, and then at the end of a project, it's a mess because I just let it go to hell, and then I clean it, and then I start all over again.
My favorite thing is when I call Billy and I say, "What are you doing?" He says, "Cleaning my studio." What are you supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, I can throw my camera here. Let's throw my camera like this. Let me lighten this a little bit. Okay. Look at that mess. That is
yeah.
That is just look at those are all my my Indiegogos that I bought. These are just discarded roughs and stuff like that. I don't know, Andy, you do that? You just throw something, it's like
I just put them to the side.
And then look at this. This is all I was cleaning out my closet. So that's picture frames and just I don't even know what it is. It's all going out. It's getting out.
Get it out of there.
Get out of there. So, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by it.
That's okay.
I would be.
Sorry, guys. So anyway, I want to thank you all very much. We have 2 hours left. Thank you, Herrenberg.
Marvin.
Yo, Marvin Wynn, our bro. Scala.
Hello.
It's Marvin.
We haven't seen Marvin in a while.
Yeah, I've gotten wanted to get him live for his publishing company. Well, the publishing company that he's putting his books through and everything. So we're just gonna have to do it recorded. Just gonna have to do it recorded.
Yep, Andy Smith. I sent you a message in the the private chat. Send me a link to your campaign so we can post it.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
I'll grab it and I'll post it, Billy.
Marvin.
Wait, so do I need to send the link or no?
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay.
Niall will get it. Billy, do you remember the cartoon with the guy standing there with one symbol saying, "I won't screw up, I won't screw up, I won't screw up," and the caption is "Roger screws up"?
Yeah.
Tonight that was sort of like Billy screws up, but that's okay. Niall is here.
That's right.
Andy, I just your campaign looks great too, man. I just want to say I backed it as well.
Thank you so much.
Me too, brother. Me too.
I think there's so much great stuff out here that anytime I'm tempted to get comics, I just, I come on this channel and realize that there's people out there busting their ass to do great comics. And I'm as excited as I was.
Yeah. Well, what a lot of people don't understand, Obeen, is out there. And because I've been getting, I don't know, Andy, if you've gotten any calls from other pros and stuff like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do a Kickstarter. I want to do an Indiegogo. And then you tell them what's involved, because you are working 12 hours a day or more, because when the art department's working, the promotion department's not working.
Exactly.
And when the promotion department's working, the fulfillment department's not working. And when the fulfillment department's working, the writing department's not working. So you have to juggle.
Oh, it's constant.
It's crazy. And you and then answering, of course, and then you get a lot of inquiries from your backers. And of course they come first above and beyond everything, because you'd have nothing without our partners out there.
Absolutely. Exactly. Billy, I think one of the things about that, and speaking as a guy who clearly needs to wear hats, that you really are wearing many hats in this. And Jimmy Palmiotti told, he told us on the show too, but I mean, he told me privately before that when you click launch for the campaign, it's the same as saying, launch your customer service department.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're finished with the book, which, thankfully I was on my last one, if you're finished with, when you click launch for the campaign, you're not just sitting around waiting for it. You're getting out there, you're circulating the algorithms, you're doing personal contacts that Peros was mentioning there, reach out to everybody that you possibly can and nudge them to share the link and to participate. And that kind of you become a huckster, a barkster. And the whole thing about this is these aren't great at that. I'm always better. Like you've seen, I can stand at your booth and sell your stuff all day. And I get shy. I know it's she about stuff to that same level.
Yeah, to sell your own stuff, right? It's so much easier to promote your friends' things. That's why a lot of times, and Nile and I had this conversation about the PopXP, because Nile is putting together his first campaign for Medico coming out this year, and he's lost a year for doing the show for a year and a half, because his book would have already been out, because we love to promote other people's stuff, because I get inspired. I don't know about you, Nile, right? I mean, that's how we started, because I get so inspired, Andy. Like, this is like hanging out in a bar, after the con.
Yeah.
We just BS, stuff like that. We have a cigar outside, and talk. And I love it, because that's what inspires me, is talking to other creators.
Yep.
You're doing this. I love, like look at Don bringing back X-Force, and more people. How many people even remember that X-Force? He's getting customers I know that are buying X-Force that never bought that X-Force #1 cover. That book, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. And I just love the camaraderie. I just helping each other out. I love this. We are capitalists, and I love this, but in a good way. We're like.
I just want to correct you, Billy, on one small mistake you just made there. Everybody in North America has X-Force 1.
I do. I might have 2 of them. I don't know.
I've got a couple.
A funny story is that when I was in the Army, when I was in basic, I might have been in basic training or one of the schools, and Debbie was sending me it was the Extinction Agenda was on, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I remember getting like Jim Lee. I thought Jim Lee was fantastic. Silvestri, Will Spertatio was great. And then I got the X-Force edition, and it was Liefeld's one, and it was so different than anything else. It wasn't that I didn't like it, but it was just so different. And I'm like, oh no, what is this? Was Jim Lee not able to finish an issue, and they had to hire someone to come in? I had no idea who it was. Of course, then he made commercials with jeans and everything like that. But it was funny. It was, but it was those guys that their style, a lot like Todd McFarlane, his style was so unorthodox, because he wasn't John Buscema. He wasn't, Perez. He wasn't John Byrne. He wasn't Dave Stevens. He was nothing. He wasn't Kubert. None of that. Yeah. And when I saw that, Andy, now you're a Kubert school student, right? I felt, because I didn't go to any comic book school or anything. Sure. I went to FIT for illustration, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. And but I just loved comics, and I wanted to make them.
Sure.
But I went to editors and stuff in 92 and 93, and they wanted me to, this isn't a Marvel face. This isn't the DC way of doing it. That's what I got. That's it. And then I'm like, the hell with this. I'll just do my own book. But those guys really encouraged me, like guys like Todd, because his style was so different.
Right.
I felt, wow, if these guys can do their own style, why the hell can't I do my own?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
totally.
It was great. What a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Glad that that you, Don, that you're making a parody of it. But what a great time in comics it was. And I love how Andy is embracing his, the true sense of what comics are.
Well, Billy,
is that, of course you have your tragedies, you have your real human elements, but man, it's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be a real page turner.
Yeah.
Every page look the same, like most Marvel comics do right now.
Right.
I don't. What? Here's the thing. I don't even want to say anything. We don't have to couch our positive in terms of somebody else's negative.
Yeah.
Our positive is the creativity that's going on here.
Right.
Let the fans make the comparison. I don't think we need to say like all Marvel's this or all Marvel's that. It just doesn't even matter. We are trying to be our own benchmarks of saying, are we doing the best that we can? I mean, seriously, go back to every exciting period in comics, whether you are talking about that 18 months to 2 years where you literally had to get everything that First Comics was putting out because that's where all the cool stuff was happening. And the response from Marvel and DC was super exciting at that time because they were being challenged to do great stuff. Go to the 80s black and white explosion, which gave us adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters. And tons and we had stuff that was parodies, stuff that was great straight comics. I mean, let's face it, Grendel came out of that period.
Grendel's awesome.
And so we've got this thing, and you look at what we're all working on, and with the exception of the fact we're all doing different stuff, and yet the creativity in it is really phenomenal. And as you guys said, Billy, I see that you changed your name thing. That's great. Thank you. That was good. I didn't see it at first, man. You caught me. That's great. But Nile's got his thing. You've got things, and you guys, and I know I participate in Don a couple of times now, and Andy, man, we're taking time away from creative stuff because we like to talk about this stuff. Even though we're here promotionally, we all got campaigns going, all that kind of stuff like that. I haven't spent the most of my time talking about my campaign. Don certainly didn't. Andy didn't. You didn't, And Nile won't shut up about his, but we're just
I was like, so here I wasn't for the longest time. It's just crazy.
Well, Niall, this is your easiest PopXP ever because we are the PopXP. We've been banned. We are outlawed right now.
PopXP.
So we are channeling the PopXP through the Billy Tucci show. But please, for those out here and our friends on Facebook, please, guys, go to the PopXP. We have the Facebook page, and there's a link to our YouTube channel. Please go to it and hit subscribe because that'll help us. And it'll show a great show of force because we're not shutting up, and we're
we're adapting in our time of suspension. We're recording everything. All those weird shows we talked about are actually happening. We're going to maintain those, and what we can do, and thanks to Peter Samedi, he reminded me that we can premiere episodes. So even though we can't go live, we can at least have a live chat. And we can be in the chat with our viewers as they're watching the recorded content.
Oh, that's extremely cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did that last night. I tried to stay up as long as I could, but Don was all like, "Yeah, man, let's party," and we were in the chat. And I was like, "Oh, Don, I got to go to bed." He's like, "No, let's party, man." And I stayed up super late in the chat.
I'm sorry, man.
Don, man, Don's a partier, I'll tell you.
Doing lines off your drawing board.
Like. All right, let's do this.
Yeah! Well, all right, guys. We've been on for an hour and a half. It's getting late. Handsome man like Andy Smith. I mean, he's got better things to do on a Friday night to hang out with us. Yeah. But Old Bean, first of all, capital idea on those glasses. Well,
thank you very much.
Great. An instant classic. You look 10 years younger.
That's right.
You look better now than you did look 10 years ago, though.
Thank you.
You did by shaving your head. You became Telly Savalas. Oh, and Andy Smith, I don't know if you're aware of this, though, if you were on the show at the time, but today's, if I may, today's PopXP celebrity endorsement comes to you via Telly Savalas.
Nice.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby?
Iniyasu.
Who loves you?
Iniyasu. The Greek tycoon. Look at him. Look at that guy. Who would not want to fucking spend a weekend with him?
That's right.
Stavro Blofeld.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna put one last screen share for Shi-Haikyo on Kickstarter. We are ending in 2 hours, so let's share it.
And want to drive people to this. We have met your goal for this, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that as we're wrapping this up for this exclusive edition, that it is continuing for the time being on Indiegogo.
We need 2 more backers at least. Break 700.
Yeah.
You're 2 away.
Right. 2 backers in 2 hours. That would be huge. All our stretch goals are all coming in now. The production, Nile has a lot of work next week. He doesn't know about it yet. He hasn't gotten paid yet.
Bill, could you? I know you want to get off, but could you run through for people, because this is an amazing list. Run through what the stretch goals are.
Oh yeah, let's get to that. Sure. So here's our thing. Our friend Bruce Duane mocked up, completed the Debbie. Look how cool that is. The Debbie Tucci She trading card when she posed for me back in 1994 when I was poor as fuck and 6 months behind my rent, and she still stuck by me because she loved me. So there's Debbie posing. But if we go through our Pure Line editions are up right now, which I love. I love the Pure Line editions. I love the rough cut editions. I love seeing comics in the purest form. I love that black and white.
That's the one I think I'd back is rough cut.
Love it. But look at all these stretch goals. So right now, everyone on Kickstarter, you guys have already unlocked. The graphic novel has been expanded from 52 to 56 pages. Actually, the graphic novel. Oh yeah, that's right, because we surpassed that. The graphic novel was then expanded to 64 pages. The comic was expanded from 48 pages of story to 58 pages of story and art. And you get, trading cards, magnets, tattoos. Again, the book's opening up. Gold metallic threaded trading cards. That's what that gold metallic trading card is right there. And of course, the Connie Valentina stretch goal was just unlocked today. Thank you all very much. And the next one is now the Maria Laura Sanapo trading card. Nice. That's our next trading card. It's for $45,000. We're less than $3,000 away. If we don't quite make it, don't worry. Our Indiegogo battalion, our beasts, they'll do it because they are, or your warriors all, each and every one of you. We love you guys. We're so appreciative. We're so happy. Oh, yeah, we made even more. Oh, look at that.
One away.
One backer away
from 700.
One backer away. Can we get one backer out there? Look at this leg kick. Awesome. There you go.
There it is.
Sanchez.
James Sanchez,
my brother. So, guys, we have 2 hours away. We're one backer away from 700 backers. Guys, I don't know.
In how many days? 27?
I think it's 26 days. I think it was
that's just amazing.
And that's for our exclusive because we have the Indiegogo running as well, and our no fan left behind campaign totals of now are over, I think, $176,000
in a much shorter period than the success of She.
Absolutely. This is a 3-month campaign, Old Bean, because these books are going to press in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And I am going to be calling in favors to all my friends, Nile, JC.
What happened?
Come on down to the American Legion Post in Sable, which I've rented for 6 weeks, and we're going to fill those books.
Nice.
And we will drink, we'll be merry, and we will eat. And we'll
Billy, I've seen you being merry, and next time shave your legs.
All right,
that's
you
right.
got it.
I didn't mind it. What? There was pizza.
Thank you, Don. Everyone out there, have a great night. Don, have a good night, buddy.
Have a good night, everyone.
your campaign with First Man.
Thank you.
I didn't see
Thanks, buddy.
Andy, you got time. We'll have you back on.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you want. You're part of the PopXP family.
Yeah.
Scala, brother. What can we say?
All right, man. We could say see you next week, everyone, because we got a bunch of shows I've recorded and edited, and we are going to be popping up some more interviews and more Popco land, studying some retro gaming. We've got some more explorations in Indiegogo and exploration Kickstarter kicking off next week. There's just so much stuff we have going on.
Yep, lots of new shows coming out. We have a comic.
I'm so fucking tired.
I know, dude. I know. We got a comic book superstar who'll be debuting his show on our show on your channel. Talk to Stephen Perros. We'll be doing a lot of things on writing comics, talking about various types of heroes. And
well, we're premiering PopXP Paranormal next week on Tuesday, and that's going to be kicking off. As a fan of paranormal reality TV shows and true paranormal investigating, myself and Howie Knoll will be hosting the show. Howie is actually really good friends with all those guys, Jason Howes, all of those famous reality stars. And then we do have, if you watch the Travel Channel and you're into the Holzer Files. We will have some special guests from that reality show on PopXP Paranormal on the 16th. We'll have Dave Schrader, who is the head of that show. He is the head lead investigator, also with the very famous Darkness Radio, which is syndicated, and you can download that on the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. So PopXP Paranormal should be really cool because we've got real celebrities from the paranormal side of entertainment, so that should be fun.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Crazy, because I live in a haunted house. I don't know, JC, if you ever felt something. Niall walked into my house the first time, and we have an old Victorian. Our Victorian was built, and it was built as a farmhouse in 1847, and then it was expanded in the Queen Anne style in 1885. And our house is definitely haunted.
My reaction is when you said you had an old Victorian, I was going to be like, house.
Right. Oh yeah, Crown Vic. But so Niall saw a ghost in my house. So I'm very excited just to sit and listen to these guys and watch this. Niall, you brought on the heavy hitters.
Yeah, no, we have a crazy lineup for PopXP Paranormal. That's hitting hard, and we've got a bunch of shows lined up.
It's really gonna rock. Cool. It's really gonna rock, Niall, and you've put a lot of thought into it, and it's gonna pay off for the viewers. Billy, before we get out of here, you need to refresh the.
Yep, I'm gonna share the screen real quick. Let me do that. Hang on. Hold. I drop all your lines. I really do.
You know what's great about that is
700. Oh, whoa! God, golly, guys, thank you so much. You have no idea what this is, especially since I'm trying to buy a used Dodge Ram today, and what what I went to with my wife.
700.
Now, what I put her through to buy a car because I wanted to buy it. I want a truck. We leased Debbie's car. I don't know, Andy, if you own your car, you lease it.
No, we don't lease.
You don't lease. So I want to, I need a pickup truck, especially to throw all this,
Oh yeah.
Filling. We've got 2,700 backers already. So combined, so we're packing everything up, and
Sure.
I need a pickup truck for the conventions, for when I hunt and stuff like that. And I found a great, sweet Dodge Ram.
Nice.
But I put my wife through all this stuff, and she's exhausted and she's cold. So, but every dollar that goes to this, it doesn't help my Dodge Ram. It actually helps with the next book that the cool thing is that JC
you gotta let people know, man. Let them know.
I know. Here's our crusade plans right now, if I may. Our next comic launches our next crowdfunded book launches at the end of March. It's the She Omnibus edition. 464 pages of it's the She Omnibus Volume 1. We're going to do 4 of them or 5 of them right now with all the books we have. As that's going on right now, JC Vaughn is writing our summer launch comic, Gatecrasher. Stephen Perros is writing right now the follow-up to She Return of the Warrior, which we have everything but the title right now. That I start drawing next week.
I thought we swapped. I thought I was Gatecrasher was going to be fall.
No, summer. No, Steve's spring.
He's spring, is he?
No, well, yeah, Steve is.
He's after the omnibus.
I want to launch at the end of May, early June.
Okay. All right.
And then you're August. So and then we follow with Zombie Sama 2, Dorm of the Dead, and the She Return the Warrior omnibus for October.
Cool.
So Andy, my plan right now is to be like a real publisher, like I was back in the day. And after this one, every single comic will be done before we launch.
Nice.
Going forward from here on in. Lord Ravener, buy Debbie a drink here. Lord Ravener, that was from Graham Nolan. I'd love to do that. We'll probably do that when Debbie's in the middle of fulfilling, and she's crying
She'll need it.
and she's working 12 hours a day.
Billy, look at this, 703 backers, man. 27 days. Is this amazing or what?
Thank you, guys. And that's in addition to our Indiegogo campaign. So if I may jump on that real quick, because I haven't looked at that in a while. Hang on.
Hoo-ah.
Well, we say hoo-ah. That's Marine say hoo-ah.
Andy, when you're working on a creator-owned book, were you work at the same pace, I
try to.
Yeah.
I try to. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's our Indiegogo real quick. So we have 1,807 backers. So we have not quite 27.
2,510 backers.
Yeah, 135. Thank you guys. This campaign is 2 months old now. Thank you all. These books go into press in the next few weeks. We start fulfilling in February to the end of March. And you guys will have all your books. So thank you all very much for this. What an extraordinary month. I love you all. Debbie loves you all of Team She. Just, I don't know what to say. Thank you guys. I hope everyone has a great Friday night. Andy Smith, keep taking the first man. Look forward to having you anytime you want to come on, brother. Old being the same with you, of course.
Yeah, man.
And you live in South Carolina now, Andy?
Me? North Carolina.
North Carolina. We have to talk.
Yeah.
Because I live in the once great state of New York, and it's getting dicey. To say the least.
It's on an Acme rocket sled downhill.
Yeah.
No doubt.
If you saw my post, Old Bean, and I stole it from someone, but it said Florida Realtor of the Year.
Yeah,
I saw that. I know.
I think over 1 million people have left New York State in the past 8 years.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And that's taxpayers. That's people that own homes.
Oh yeah. I know.
So, well,
crazy.
Case of
guys.
Scala.
Yes, sir.
Great to see you, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Andy, have a great weekend. Old Bean, talk to you tomorrow because I got to go through some editorial stuff with you. And everyone have a great night. Thank you guys for joining us. Everyone out there on Facebook. Thank you guys, PopXP fans who came on using the Billy Tucci stream that we circumvented, the big tech. And PopXP is growing bigger and better every single day. Nile is working his ass off every night, coming up with new content, new videos, and just it's going to be good. It's going to be a good spring, Scala.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I hope everyone has a great night.
Yeah, right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, I'm gonna do the brand to show us out. All right, Scala, because we have to do that.
You got to do it.
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
Free PopXP.
Yeah, you know me.
I'm gonna do it.
You gonna do it?
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on PopXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the PopXP and over on Instagram at the PopXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.